Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Mindy with Mindy Eggen Design, and in today's video we are going to be creating a Halloween gatefold card using products from Tailored Expressions. Before we start making the card, I thought it would be fun to show you how this works. So this is how the card comes. You just take that sleeve off, open it up, and you can see with the gatefold it has a window in the inside showing you our funny little ghosts. Then you can just put that sleeve back on and slide it back on top of your card. So this is a really fun interactive Halloween card. I'm starting off with a piece of Oreo cardstock, and this is measuring 5.5 by 8.5. Then I'm scoring on each end at 2 1/8. So you score it at 2 1/8, flip it, and score again at 2 1/8. And then I'm just folding along those crease lines and just really ensuring that fold with my bone folder. So that is our base, super easy. Now this is the gatefold die. It has two pieces here. That first piece is which is going to be in the middle. I'm going to die cut from Oreo cardstock, and this flag piece we cut twice. And you could see here it also has a little score line that it indents into that cardstock for you. So those are our two main pieces. Right now, I will be setting them off on the side, and we are going to work on our images and decorating. This is the Cutting Edge Ghosts stamp set from Tailored Expressions. I'm going to stamp that really fun group of ghosts. They were super cute. So I'm going to use my mini MISTI to do that. You want to remove that black foam insert since these are red rubber stamps already mounted. Lined them up in my MISTI, and then I'm going to stamp them on some white cardstock, and I'll be using the Oreo ink from Tailored Expression. So I'm going to go ahead, ink those up, close the door. Just making sure I give it good pressure, and I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure it's a really nice dark line. And then I'm going to do just some really quick Copic coloring. This is a B'0, I believe it is, and I'm just adding a little bit of highlight to each of the ghosts. Now some of them will get cut off in the window, but I still colored them all in just in case. And then I line up the coordinating die and die cut that out. Now you can see the Cutting Edge Ghosts, it's giving you, it's only partially die cutting. So these are really fun to put on your cards where you could have the bottom half have a message. And since this piece, these ghosts are bigger than my middle piece here, I'm going to go ahead and trim that down. So that'll fit right behind our window. And these are really fun ghosts peeking through that window. I just love that. And then that's how it's going to look in our card once we start putting it together. So I'm going to continue decorating before I do any adhering. I'm going to use this stamp set called Flip the Web. I really loved these spider webs on here. So what I did at the top, I folded over one of my flaps so that it just fit better in my MISTI tool. Now these are the inside flaps of our card. I'm just doing a little bit of decorating. I'm stamping this in some embossing ink. And then I will sprinkle on some silver embossing powder. These spider webs look super cool in the silver embossing powder. I'll heat set that so it's nice and melted. And once it's cooled off, I'll put that back in my MISTI for the other side. And I'm going to kind of flip that other flap over so it just fits nicely in there. Prep my cardstock with the anti-static powder tool. And then I'm stamping the other side, and I will heat emboss that in the silver embossing powder as well. Now I did do an embossing panel for the front of my card, and that is using the Shiplap Background. I didn't show this in the step just because I am doing a lot of stamping and embossing. What I wanted to show you is this really fun mini strips Halloween stamp set. These are great, and Tailored Expressions has quite a few variety of these. I'm going to stamp mine onto candy corn cardstock using the Oreo ink. Now make sure when you're stamping this to ink up those squares too. This is going to allow us to die cut all of these strips at once. It's phenomenal. You have plenty on hand for later. So make sure you're inking up that entire image. And then I will line up the coordinating die and you line up your inked square with the square on your die. So that's going to give you these perfectly sized strips. They're amazing, phenomenal. I can't get enough of them. In case you can't tell, I love them. So once I run that through my die cut machine, here's a look at all of them. I'm only choosing 2 out of here for my card, and the rest I'm just going to put back in my stamp set to save for later. One more thing I wanted to work on for decorating is this boo. Now this is the Caps Locks boo that I die cut from Cookie Monster cardstock. Now I put those back into that negative area and held it in place with some Post-it tape. I don't recommend the Post-it tape. When I started ink blending the Plum Punch with the blender brushes, my brush was catching some of that stickiness and was kind of gooing up and making marks on my cardstock. So I would say hold these down with maybe some purple tape. Don't go in between the letters. You don't want it showing because otherwise it's going to kind of gunk up. So just temporarily hold it down with maybe some purple tape instead. And then once I'm done ink blending, just kind of giving that ombre effect on it, I'm going to set those off on the side for a minute, and we're going to start working on our card and putting all of these great features together. So this is the background I created with that Shiplap Background. I heat embossed that in white embossing powder onto black cardstock, and I did trim it down. I had heat embossed it on just a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of Oreo cardstock, and then I trimmed it in half and then just cut off a smidge on each one. So it's kind of giving me a black border. I liked how it separated it a little bit. It was a little more pleasing to the eye. So those went on the outside panel of my card. And now for the inside panel, what I want to do is attach my ghosts. So I'm putting some adhesive on the back of my ghosts. And then I'm going to line that up in my window, and I'm just kind of holding it there in place where I want it to go. And then I'll lay that down onto my cardstock. So lining up where I want that center section to go, and I'm going to push down the ghosts. I'm only attaching the ghosts. Then I'll line the back of that middle piece of our window with some foam tape. This is just to give some dimension and give our window room when we add our flaps. Then once I remove the backing, I'll attach that right over my ghosts. Those are so cute. Now here are the flags that we die cut. And I'm just folding over those scored lines, reinforcing that with the bone folder. I'll add some 1/8 of an inch, I think it is, score tape right on those flaps. And then I'm going to put this in between the window and the ghosts. And I kind of fold up my flap so that my edges are flush when it folds together. This is going right inside that center piece. Then we'll remove the backing, fold our flap over, and it's going to attach our flags to those doors. So see, once we open it up, and it reveals that window. Really fun, really cool interactive card. Now we can finish decorating. So I'm just taking the boo that I had ink blended. I'm going to add some liquid glue and center that right under my window. I'm also going to take my skinny strip with my Halloween sentiment that says trick or treat. I'll just add a little bit of adhesive to that and put it right under our boo. And for the front cover, I have a piece of black cardstock, the Oreo cardstock I die cut with a circle. I'm going to add this one single ghost to the middle of it, and then I'll attach the sentiment strip with a little bit of foam tape to pop that up. So this is going for the front of our card. Then we're going to create a belly band or a sleeve. So this is cut to 1.5 inches by 11. And this is out of the Tailored Expressions Vellum. I'm going to put a little bit of the double-sided tape at one end, line that up in the center, and just gently fold it around my card. You want to keep it kind of loose because you want them to be able to slide it on and off, but not so loose it's going to fall off. So just kind of loosely attach that down, and then you can trim off the excess. Now, if I was smart, I would have had this be in the front so my ghost would cover it, but I forgot to do that. Still looks great. Not a lot of people look at the back of the card, so it works out. And then I did attach my circle piece with some double-sided tape. Just make sure when you're putting this on the vellum, it is going on the vellum and not your card. Otherwise, you won't be able to move that up and down. So that completes the card. You can see we have this really fun, kind of haunted house looking scene on the front is what I pictured with that shiplap background. And then you open it up, these cool spider webs and the ghosts popping out to say boo. Really fun interactive card. I will have all of the supplies listed down below in the video description and over on my blog as well. These are from Tailored Expressions, so be sure to head on over and grab that. And if you're looking to do these for Halloween, you will have plenty of time because Tailored Expressions ships super, super fast, really fast shipping. So you should get these in plenty of time, depending on when you're watching the video. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you did enjoy my video, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so you're notified of when new videos are posted. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.